Good morning. We just wanted to say a quick hello and welcome you to Gothenburg Tech Week. My name is Malin, and this is my colleagues Elina and Elin. We are the force behind this event week, and together with our amazing organizers, we hope to get an amazing and wonderful week. Without further ado, let's introduce the first speaker of Gothenburg Tech Week, Mikael.
Thank you so much, Malin. And amazing to be here at the Gothenburg Tech Week. And for you who are here live, it's fantastic to be at Chalmers, and for everybody online, warmly welcome. We are starting off this week with this topic about attention, and as we call it, the supreme currency of our lives. So what does that really mean? And in a time where more and more companies and people are interested in our attention, we can ask ourselves the question, where is my attention? And what is a better question to ask than when we step into the Tech Week, where we have a week of great learnings, of great connections, and a big portion of inspiration coming up. So we will have a little bit of a practical session here, and we will do a training or a practice with our breath, because the breath is really the key when we work with our attention. So how many of you have been trying any breath techniques before? I see some arms here, and I see some arms online also. So beautiful. How many have tried it on a weekly basis or implemented it in life? I see some hands still. It's very interesting if we look at the facts, how many days we can live without food. We can live almost 3 weeks. And if we look how long time we can live without water, we can live almost 3 days. But without breath, I mean, it's normally maybe 3 minutes. Maybe some can do more, but after that it's getting quite tough. So we breathe around 25,000 breaths every day. And what if we can implement a little bit more of attention to that? I mean, just imagine the effect that if we change our diet, we change our food to more healthy, what happens? If we add more water to our life, what's happened? So what if we can have the same or even much higher effect when we work on our breath? So that's my invitation today, to come to a comfortable seating and to just lengthen the spine. It's early morning for many of us, so we will do an activating breath first, and then we will do some stabilizing breaths for the brain and for the nervous system before we will come back to this intention that we will bring along this week. So find your seat. If you're home in a chair or still in bed, I mean, of course you can be lying down, but if you're fine, just come up and lengthen your spine, because you can immediately feel a little bit of shift in your whole system just by doing that. So if you're sitting on a chair, you can come forward a little bit so you're not leaning to the back. And then feel a natural lengthening in the spine, and then just relax the shoulders a little bit. You can feel where the breath are now, if it's flowing in and out through the mouth or through the nose. Just be curious here in this moment. What is happening in my awareness with my attention in this present moment? Let everything around just be as it is. Everything that has been before this morning and everything that will come, just have full trust in it for a couple of minutes here. And then just tune it so we breathe in and out through the nose. And then we will start to focus on the exhalation. So it's almost like a sneezing almost. The breath will go out through the nose. And when the air goes out, the stomach goes in. So we put all the tension on the exhalation, and the inhalation almost happens automatic. So you can feel on your stomach that when air goes out, stomach goes in. So see if you can try a couple of more times. You can come back if it feels a little bit strange. Come back again, restart. Have the focus on the exhalation and breathe forcefully out through the nose. And then we can speed up the pace a little bit. We do 15 more seconds. And we breathe in. Hold the breath on top. Maintain the focus inward. Just hold the breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Just stay here a couple of seconds and you can feel the movement in the body. You can feel this effect of a Red Bull without any by effects on your system. So we use this activation and centering, and we're maintaining the attention to the nose, breathing in and out through the nose. And we see now more and more research in Silicon Valley on mindfulness and breath and how these can affect us in our jobs. And when we discussed if we should bring the research to the opening ceremony, we said, well, let's rather do our research ourselves and practice. And come back to that later in the week. So now, as we breathe in and out through the nose, feel that we move the focus. We can feel how the air is coming in through the nose and how it's coming out through the nose. And from that rapid pace, we just slow it down here. Just bring a natural ease. And then we're going to breathe for 3, 9, and 6. So we're going to breathe in to 3 seconds. We're going to hold the breath in for 9 seconds. And we're going to exhale for 3. You can have the eyes closed or you can have the eyes gentle open, whatever feels natural in the moment. So we start breathing in to 3, 1, 2, 3. Holding the breath in to 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exhale to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale to 3, 1, 2, 3. Hold to 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exhale to 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue. Gently just count internally. Inhale, 2, 3. Hold your breath to 9 and exhale to 6. Just allow this technique to stabilize your nervous system, to move you to greater presence. And if thoughts are coming and just disturbing your attention, just come back to 396. No big deal. It's part of the practice. We breathe into 3, we hold the breath in for 9, and we exhale for 6. Breathe is flowing in and out through the nose. As we allow this receptive state to emerge within our system and open for great learnings and discoveries. See if you can maintain this breath for another minute. And then on your next exhalation, just release the breath. There might be things happening around you and noises and activities, and just allow them to be exactly as they are. And then we will gently move into the last technique for today, which has a balancing effect on our brain. So we'll harmonize the left and the right brain, which is really the genius brain when we combine these two. So we're going to use our right hand, and we're going to close our right nostril. And then we're going to breathe in through the left. We're going to hold the breath in, close both the nostrils, and then exhale on the other side. You can use any fingers that feels natural. And then you exhale on the right side. Inhale through the right. Hold the breath in. And exhale to the left. Letting the air flow gently, steady from one side to the other side. See if you can find a slow rhythm here. You breathe in one side, you hold in between, and then exhale on the other side. very helpful to activate the genius brain. Hold your attention here for a couple of more rounds. Moving breath from right side to left side, and from left side to right side. And with the next exhalation, just let your hand come down. You can rest on your knees or anywhere that feels natural in this moment. Allow the breath to gently flow. And from this state, we allow this intention to rise for this upcoming Gothenburg Tech Week. From this state, we can open for great learnings, for great receptivity of new knowledge, and for beautiful connections of new people and new companies. If you have your eyes closed, you can gently open them when you feel ready. Come back into the space. And then, as entrepreneurs and engineers, these are 3 great techniques to have in the toolbox. And we will dive deeper in this topic on Wednesday. So if you feel charmed, you're warmly welcome to join us for some of the information behind it. And from here, I want to thank you all for participating and for bringing those beautiful vibrations to the opening of the Gothenburg Tech Week. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day.
Welcome, guys. And everyone here, please sit in and join us for our next event at Gothenburg Tech Week. And everyone you watching at home, welcome. So we started with breathing exercises this morning. So I think that everyone is super focused for our next event. And we're going to switch completely topic. So I want to introduce Sarah Zamani, that you're going to take us through some introduction to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and I'm going to let you start.
Sure, thank you. So good morning, everyone. Now that Michael has taught us how to breathe, because that is exactly what you need in crypto world, right? Breathe in, keep calm, right? So now we can start our crypto investment investigation. I'm not really going to talk much about what is crypto because I'm assuming that you guys all are familiar, but rather go into the hype of it, how do I pick the right crypto now to invest? Now that everyone is talking about crypto, right? In 2010, if you would have talked about Bitcoin, maybe not even 10, maybe 2015, everyone would look at you as a fraud, someone who is talking about some fraud stuff. But now, even a lot of enterprises are investing in crypto world. So it's probably the right time to know what to do with it. Do I go to the crypto world? If I do, how do I keep safe? But before we start the presentation, just to make this clear and have this right foundation I'm not a trader, right? So I'm a blockchain expert. So I work as head of disruptive technologies at Metabytes. Metabytes is an IT consultancy firm. We build blockchain solutions for enterprises, for individuals. We are builders, basically. And of course, in majority of blockchain solutions, you have some sort of tokenomics, some sort of crypto involved, right? So I'm the technologist who also deals with crypto on a daily basis. And therefore, I'm going to tell you how to look at it from a non-biased perspective, right? So I'm not going to tell you which crypto to pick. No, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to show you the phishing techniques so you can go and pick your own crypto. So what we'll learn today? So we will learn what are the right resources to look into when we're talking about crypto. When we're talking about, finding information, finding data, where are the right resources, which resources we have to trust, etc. And what is a checklist? What do I check when I want to pick the crypto that I want to invest in? How do I make decision? So we are going to learn about decision making. How do I make decision on this is the crypto for me? And also, we are going to learn to be a little bit independent. Because what we have so far in today's world is a lot of dependency when it comes to financial investments. Because we're not familiar with a lot of stuff. We were talking on the way here with my colleagues in the car about stock investments. And apparently there is something called fond or something in Sweden that you guys have with the bank. So you really are not involved in the process of choosing the stocks, etc., right? So you trust a third party that will do the job for you. So you're pretty dependent. You're not really independent in that. So we're going to learn a little bit about how to be that independent investor and be proud of yourself. So, but why crypto? This is going to be a little tricky in these slides because I talked about resources. So a lot of the slides that I have here are with the link to the resources because I didn't want to bring in text from resources here. We're going to open them, we're going to look at the websites, we're going to see where to find the right information, okay, live. So why crypto? Let's have a look at this. Okay. Sorry. Okay, now. How do I exit this? Okay, here. So coin market cap is the first resource we're going to talk about, right? So this is the first place you usually go to. And let's have a look at why crypto. You go all the way up here, and you can see all these numbers. Why crypto? The market cap is $2.5 trillion today, right? It's much, much bigger than what it was before. Let's have a look at this, the growth of it. We come here, and we see how the market cap is growing in crypto world, right? So it wasn't probably as much of a hype at all in early 2018. There was a peak in 2018 with Bitcoin, and then slowed down a little bit. But then, all these dApps came in, all these cryptos came in, and all the enterprises started investing in 2021. You heard about, Elon Musk tweet, probably, all of you, all the enterprises investing, buying Bitcoin, governments accepting Bitcoin as a mean of payment, etc. And not only Bitcoin, we have plenty of other cryptocurrencies that are involved, right? So, and that was exactly when the whole trend started in 2020, 2021. And the market cap is just constantly growing. So probably with this big spike of growth, is it worth looking at it, right? But on the other hand, if we go back here, all the way up, there are 13,064 cryptocurrencies today, right? So which one do we invest in? Which one do we trust, right? Which one is going to stay there for long, and which one is, I don't want to say the name, but probably you are all heard about it, the coin, right? So that is what we will look into. So why crypto? Because the market is growing extremely, everyone is interested in it, and is the currency that is based on a technology like blockchain that is going to give democratization back to the society, going to democratize finance industry. And we're talking about finance today because we're talking about cryptocurrencies. But of course, blockchain is not limited to finance industry, but is going to give that independency, is going to eliminate intermediaries, which today in our banking mediums, we have a lot of intermediaries, right? If you're having an international transaction and for remittance, etc., you have plenty of intermediary banks acting there and increasing the cost because you pay a lot of transaction fees that you're not aware of clearly. So therefore, it all makes sense to investigate. But let's have a look at the steps. The steps are not specifically in order. I try to make the most reasonable order out of it. But for myself, honestly, I sometimes jump. I start from the 6th and then go back to the 4th and then go back to the 1st. But these are generally good steps to look into. So the first thing you do is you check economic activity of a coin. And what does it mean? You go back to these resources that we have here, right? The coin market cap, and we have CoinGecko. And I have to, and the reason why, I'm not gonna open it, but the reason why we say that it's important to check economic activity, it's important to check how much volume has been traded the past 24 hours on the specific crypto that you want to invest in, right? And that is to make sure that the coin is alive, right? And check the trading history. What has been happening with the coin? You can actually see that. Let's open actually the coin market cap. Yeah. And we can go back here, and you can see that on the very first page, right? You can see different currencies. What is the price of Bitcoin today, for example, or Ethereum, or Binance Coin or Cardano ADA, so you can see the price, what has happened in the past 24 hours, 7 days, market cap, volume, circulating supply. So you can see all these numbers. And it's important to check to see if the coin is really alive. The market around the coin is alive. There are things happening. So this is the first thing you check. And if you don't really see promising numbers there, you put it aside, right? So once you have checked on such resources and you see, okay, I can see that the coin is actually alive, then we go to the next step, which is checking hash rate. Checking hash rate is a little bit technical, right? And this is probably not something that you will hear in many places that ask you, oh, to trust a crypto, you have to check the hash rate. Because a lot of people who talk about the right crypto are traders and not technical people, right? But the security of a crypto, of the network that the crypto is built on, basically the blockchain, is very much shown with the hash rate, right? And here we have the resource to check the hash rate, Bitinfo charts. You go to this resource, let's have a look at it and see what it means. So we come here to this website, and there are different cryptos here. Let's have a look at Bitcoin hash rate chart. Here, you go and check hash rate. Sorry, this is, okay, let's have a look at Bitcoin. And then we go to the hash rate. Come all the way down, you find the hash rate. Okay, so you look at the hash rate. Oh, I'm not showing it, sorry. I will go back. Here. I will go back to the website. So here, you can see the cryptos here, up here. Let's pick Bitcoin. And we go all the way down here. And we find hash rate. We check the hash rate. So what we typically are looking for is the number here. Do you see the number? 147.395 exahash. And that is the highest rate. So we have kilo, mega, giga, right? And then all the way to exa, right? So we have the higher the hash rate is, the more secure the network is. The higher the hash rate is, means there are more miners interested. And the hash rate is only valid for cryptos that are running on proof of work network. Right? So that is something. Because if a crypto is based on a proof of stake, like Cardano, then we're not looking at it, right? But if we're looking at hash rate, because it doesn't make sense. But if it's a proof of work like Bitcoin, Ether at the time, etc., then we go and check Litecoin, we check the hash rate. The higher the number, the more secure the network. Plus, that means there are more miners interested to keep the network alive and to keep the network secure. And what we typically are looking for is a trend of the hash rate increase. There is, of course, this spike here, but in general, what we see is that Bitcoin hash rate is increasing, right? We can actually have a comparison between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's have a look at Ethereum. We go all the way to hash rate. It's a tetra hash, so it's much lower than Bitcoin. There is an increasing trend that is good to look at, but it's a smaller number, the hash rate, right? Or let's have a look at Litecoin. It doesn't show a good hash rate chart, right? Because there is, you don't see that trend that is increasing, So this means, of course, Litecoin is a coin that is out there. We will talk about the market cap, etc. But technically, the network is not as secure as Bitcoin or Ethereum. So this is typically what I would, as a technologist, definitely check if I want to invest in a cryptocurrency. But of course, traders might say differently. So what we want is, like I said, increasing hash rate trend. That shows the network after some time is getting more secured. Miners are getting more interested, keeping it more secured. The higher the hash rate, the higher computing power to secure the network, and the lower the hash rate means the lower computing. The lower miners means lower computing power to keep the network safe. Once we check the hash rate and we see it's fine, it looks fine, the hash rate is increasing and it's a decent number, the next step is to check trading volume and market, right? So why would we do that? There are 4 things that you generally need to check in this step. You need to check whether the coin is listed. And when we say the coin is listed, means is being traded on reputable exchanges, because that is a kind of reputation for a currency, right? That is a little bit of it gives you a little bit feeling of trust that, okay, now this coin is listed on, let's say, Coinbase or Binance. So because they check a lot of criteria before they list, right? So then probably I can trust it, right? But one thing you need to be very careful when we're talking about listed. There are 2 different types of listing. One is to be listed on exchanges, like Coinbase, Binance, etc. One is to be listed on a DEX, decentralized exchanges, like Uniswap. So the feeling of the trust comes from centralized exchanges only. Because decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, they don't have anything to check. They don't have a criteria for listing a coin. So if you see a coin is listed on Uniswap but not Coinbase, there must have been a reason, right? But if it's listed on both, that's fine. So you have to be careful with whether you're checking the listing on a centralized exchange or decentralized exchange. Plus, you need to check the trading volume. Check if the coin has significant trading volume over a specific period of time. And when we say volume, because let's say over the past 24 hours, it's very important to see that the coin is being sold and bought. There are people interested in it, right? The higher the trading volume, the better you can trust a coin. You need to check the market cap. And the market cap, the higher the market cap, it shows the higher interest in the coin. And the minimum higher cap that I would say, the market cap that I would say is good to go for a coin is $1 billion US. And why is that so? Because that is only when enterprises would be interested in that coin. And of course, because if an enterprise wants to enter a market, enterprises are not, well, maybe $10, $20 million is a big number for an individual, but not for an enterprise, right? And if an enterprise wants to invest in a coin, they will go for big numbers. And if they go for a big number for a coin, that is, let's say the market cap is $200 million, that's nothing. An enterprise is not going to risk investing in that coin. And of course, if you're investing in a coin that enterprises might get interested in, that's a better investment, right? Like today we have Bitcoin as a coin that enterprises are getting interested in. That's why the Bitcoin is a good investment in crypto. Then the last thing that you would chase is max supply. The max supply, it doesn't work all the time, but it's a preference. You preferably want to go for a coin that has a fixed maximum supply. And what does that mean? Like Bitcoin, we have 21 million, and that's it. No more Bitcoin will be mined, right? But some coins are unlimited. It's like, you know that there's limited number of something that is going to go higher and higher in value over the time, or you know that it's a money that is going to be printed every day, right? So there's a difference here in terms of investment. Usually, for investment purposes, you go for a coin that has fixed maximum supply, preferably. Of course, not all the time, but preferably, you go for a coin with fixed maximum supply. I'm really bad with keeping time, so probably you have to remind me. And once we check, okay, we saw there is an live economy around the coin. We check the hash rate. It looks like a secure network. The market cap is fine. And, it's listed, etc. So now, how do I know about the future of the coin? What is going? Because for now, we only checked the past, right? We only check what has happened in the past. But we haven't really checked what is going to happen in the future. Now we go back to documentations. We go to the coin website. We find their white papers. We read the white paper. Every coin comes with its own white paper. You check the tokenomics. You check all the logics, the business logics that they explained, that this is how the coin is going to work, this is how it's going to grow in value, etc. You check the inflation. You check the ICO, the initial coin offering. What was the plan? How did it happen? Did everything go according to the plan? And we will check that in the next step, actually. You check the consensus mechanism. Is it proof of work, proof of stake? For some markets, proof of work is the most secure. For some markets, they prefer proof of stake. Proof of work is the consensus mechanism that has a lot of critics against it in sustainability purposes, for consuming a lot of energy. Proof of stake is a greener consensus mechanism. We have other mechanisms as well, but we're not going to cover those here. So you check all these aspects, and also what is going to happen in the future. Why is this coin made at all? A lot of coins have a purpose behind it. Some coins are for human-aided purposes. Some coins are there to make the world more sustainable. Some coins are there to provide education for emerging countries. So there are so many different purposes behind the coins. And sometimes you actually even pick a coin, even though it doesn't look the most secure, but you just like the reason behind it. You just like the movement behind it because you want to support them. Right? A lot of times you actually do make investments because some coins are made only to empower women businesses. Then there is a lot of purposes, and those information you find in the white paper. You read their white paper, you learn about the coin, you sometimes find feelings for the coin that, okay, I feel like I like this coin and I'm going to go for it. But what is so important is to make sure the white paper is followed. A lot of times, coins come with beautiful white papers that you read them and you're like, wow, this is going to change the world. This is the future. This is the coin that I have to invest in. And then over the time, things go downward, right? But how do you check that? How do I know that they have really followed the white paper or not? It's time to investigate. Now you have seen everything. It's time to investigate whether everything they told you was right and they have followed it, right? So there are three links here. Masari, Research Binance, and ICO Drops. These are the websites that you go and check whether they have really followed and compare their performance, because these are the websites that are going to show you the performance of that coin. What has happened in the history? What is the profile of the coin? What is the tokenomics? How is the token allocation look like? You don't want to go for a coin that the token allocation shows the majority of tokens are held by founders. No, that is dangerous because they can do whatever they want with that coin. You want a coin that the majority of the tokens are held by community. That is a coin that you trust. And you can see those allocations here on these websites. You want to look at the past and also the future plan development. And you want to look at the roadmaps, the milestones, mining, staking, what has happened. Basically, you want to know what has happened and what is going to happen in the future. And these websites, they do collect information from different resources. You can majority of the time trust these 3 websites here. And why is that so? Because first of all, they have big reputation, so they need to be very, very careful with the information they provide to the community. And if anything goes wrong, the fan and the community of that coin can actually go after them, right? So they have this really big responsibility to make sure they project the right information. The right information and data might not always come in handy, come in exactly at the right time. So they might have some delay. So a coin might just come out and they might not have much information on it yet because they need to collect the right information before. So they're not as quick as a lot of websites, but they are the resources that you can trust, because there are a lot of other resources that they provide quick information, but can you really trust that quick information, right? So that is the important thing. So when you go to let's have a look at Masari. Oops. Okay, here. This is the website Masari. This is where you can find a lot of information about the coin. What you do is you go to the Masari website. Up here, there is a link research. You go to research, and you can either find a coin anywhere you want, or you can just search. Let's go for Cardano. Right? Cardano just launched recently their smart contract platform. Is one of the coins, ADA, that there is a lot of discussion about it, that is going to really rise in price, etc. Because Cardano was actually, they came with a coin first called ADA, and it's the first and probably the most sophisticated proof of a stake based coin. So you don't find hash rates for it if you go to the hash rate check, because it's not a proof of work coin. But they did not have a smart contract that you can build application on. But because they were a proof of a stake coin, they thought they should provide a smart contract to grow really big so companies can build application now. Because if you don't have the smart contract features, you cannot really build application. And they launched it last month. And that really is the reason that a lot of people are investing now in ADA, because a lot of companies are going to build applications, so it will bring enterprise investment a lot more. So now we chose Cardano. We come to the Cardano web page, and then we have profile here. You check the profile here. What is Cardano? The history, and here you compare, you can read things, and then we have contributors. You have token economics. These are the information that you can actually find on the white paper as well, but this is the place you compare them with white paper, right? You compare the tokenomics on Masari with the white paper to see if what they claimed has happened. You check the contributors and token allocation with the white paper. And something that is very important here to look at is the individuals, right? Charles Hoskinson is a leader that is very well known for Cardano. Like Ethereum has a leader that is very well known for Ethereum. But who is a leader for Bitcoin? You don't know. That is something to consider also when you're investing in a coin. The structure technically might not be centralized, but the business aspect is centralized to a person, and that makes it dangerous, right? When a coin is very dependent to one specific individual. So there's a lot of critics that this can create that can bring back centralization, right? This is the same critics is valid for Cardano as well, because Charles is a very well-known leader for Cardano. So you check everything here in Masari, and you compare with the white paper, basically. The same thing for Binance research. I'm not going to open the links. The Binance research is a little bit more technical approach if you want to check technical aspects with what was said in the white paper. The ICO drops also shows you the token allocation, and you can run a comparison between Masari and ICO drops as well, actually. So that is a very good point, because a few years ago, that was a critics to Ethereum. Right, when they asked about the maximum supply of the coin, there were different numbers in the white paper, different numbers given by the leaders, different numbers in Masari, and different number in ICO drop. So that was a critic against it, right? Because that makes it a little bit fishy, that you don't want to go for a coin. Of course, Ethereum is a very stable coin today, but we're talking about 2014, right? Which was a whole century back in cryptocurrency world. So there are different aspects that you need to take into consideration. Most token holders, we talked about already, the most token holders should be communities. You don't want to go for a coin that the founders hold most of the token. The founders' centralization, we already talked about. It's extremely important to watch interviews. If you want to invest in a coin, look for them on YouTube. The easiest way, look for them on YouTube and watch the interviews of the leaders, the founders. What did they say? A lot of times the information you cannot find in white paper or Masari or ICO drops, you find in the interviews that they talk about it, right? Because when you read the white papers, you might come actually with questions that you can find answers to in the interviews. And also there is where you can find the conflicts, right? And you can find whether this is a fishy coin or not. Check founder's LinkedIn profile. It's extremely important to know who is behind a coin, right? And of course, it's very common that you see that they are, ex-Googlers, whatever. But of course, you don't want to go for founders that they've been there for 3 months and then, this doesn't make them exclusive, but it's extremely important to know the founders. Blockchain Explorer. One way to check token allocations and to make sure that you can trust that token allocation is to check numbers live, right? Because you want to find a resource that you can check numbers live of token allocation. And for example, if it's the ERC20 token, Ethereum-based, you go for Etherscan. Etherscan is an explorer that you can actually find the token allocation, or they can have their own. Any coin can have their own blockchain explorer. But what is important is to check to make sure the explorer does show live token allocation. If you check their explorer and you can't really feel convinced with the token allocation and you don't see the distribution of the token allocation, that is a big no-no. You don't go for that coin, even though everything looks perfect. Even though everything on white paper looks perfect, on exchange everything looks perfect, but if the distribution of token is not presented live on their blockchain explorer, that's a big no-no. You don't trust that coin. And the last thing, the last step is to basically check the roadmap. Where is it going in the future? If it's a token supporting women entrepreneurship, what is the plan for future? If it's a token for fighting against hunger, what is the plan in the future? If it's for sustainability, what are they going to do? Check blogs and Medium and GitHub, check their upcoming information, check news. A lot of times, you might miss information in many of these resources, but in the news, because the journalists are extremely critical, you can find really good information in the news. Check Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, Decrypt. These are all news platforms specifically for cryptocurrencies that you can find all the news for that. And the last, but probably one of the most important things, is watch for scammers, right? If you are in this world, like I am, on daily basis I receive hundreds of messages of ICOs, of new coins coming out, wanting me to invest in it, or giving me all these beautiful promises of how it's going to grow. So you have to be extremely careful with scammers, right? And do your own research before you trust. Don't trust. When we're talking about blockchain, it's about not trusting, right? Not trusting an individual, not trusting an entity, not trusting a central source. Trust your research, trust a network. Because based on the research, you can see if you can trust a network, right? And yeah, so watch for scammers. So to sum up, we check the economy of the coin. We check the hash rate of the coin, and the hash rate shows us the security of the network. We check the trading volume and market volume, market cap, if there's a max supply, etc. We read the white paper. We do our own investigation through Masari, Binance Research. We run our comparison. We make sure that everything that was claimed by the coin was really what has happened. And then we check the project updates. And finally, we make our decision. Then we're done. Thank you. Now we can trust the coin that we invest in.
Wow, thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
I learned so much today. We had a question in the chat
Sure.
about hash rates. Like, it looks like all currency there, or is it just like the largest one, or how?
No, only the currencies that are running on proof of work.
Okay.
Because we have different consensus mechanism in blockchain, right? And those who are running on proof of work, those are the ones that we can have a hash rate for. So those are the only ones that they can find here. If they are not listed on top, they can just search in the search tab, but they can only find proof of work coins there.
And I would love you to just like resonate a bit about what do you think of the future of crypto? Will we see more currencies happening, or will they consolidate? What do you think?
No, definitely. I think you will see a lot more coins coming in. I don't necessarily think they will consolidate, because when they are consolidated, then again it goes against the whole concept of blockchain, which was against centralization, right? But I will say there will be more. It's a whole different world, right? We should throw away all the thinking that we have today about finance and just try to imagine a world that each one of us can wake up and actually have our own bank and decide how we want to make money, how we want to spend money. But what is money I don't think it's going to be crypto. I think what is the mean of exchange is data, because all these cryptos are also valuable as much as the data they hold, right? So it's about, putting a price on your data and come up with your own coin. I don't think it's going to be centralized back to few currencies, to be honest.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
And thank you, guys, for joining us here and for you in the stream. Well, the future is bright for crypto, and the future is bright for Gothenburg Tech Week. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you.
And thank you. And our next event will be at 3:30 this afternoon with ways to finance your scale up, most likely with the old fashionable fiat coins. Thank you.